The life and legacy of Nelson Mandela is being celebrated the world over. From political leaders to the biggest names in sport, there's widespread praise for the man who gave up everything to help millions.
A giant in life and death, and today cricket honoured Nelson Mandela. Not South Africa, but Australia and England, calling a minute's truce in their Ashes battle to remember the man who transcended all the divides of life, race, politics and sport.
In '94 he came to one of our tour games and we all lined up and he walked along and shook hands with everyone, and he had the big brimmed white cricket hat on, and it was, you knew you were meeting a great man and you knew what he meant to the people over there.
And if you could meet anyone, the name Mandela always ranks highly.
Nelson Mandela was my hero, and he was a hero for the ages.
Former foreign ministers to prime ministers, their encounters inspirational and unforgettable. Malcolm Fraser first met Mandela in his prison cell in 1986.
The first thing Mandela said to me, standing very tall, very straight, looking me in the eye, "Mr. Fraser, is Donald Bradman still alive?"
He returned later with a bat signed by the Don.
If we had 3 and 4 Nelson Mandelas to scatter in critical places around the world would be a safer and a more secure and more peaceful place.
Former Foreign Minister Gareth Evans' meeting took place in 1990, 3 days after his release from jail.
Simply the most impressive and decent human being I've ever met in the course of my public life.
In the same year, Nelson Mandela visited Australia. A political leader, he was treated like a head of state and adored like a rock star.
Oh my God, I'm so happy, I'm so pleased to see Mandela.
He was 72 then, and it was a whirlwind 3 days.
The way I have been received in this country makes me feel like going back to jail for another 27 years.
With trade sanctions and sporting boycotts, the Hawke government helped lead an international campaign against the South African regime.
Because apartheid was sinful, evil, and we had a responsibility to use our influence to do what we could.
Today, Bob Hawke called his friend the father of democracy.
27 years in the prime of his life, incarcerated, and yet he was a huge enough man to say, well, I've got to put that behind me. I can't live in a past of hatred. He said, I've got to look to the future.
And while Mandela brought political freedom, he also brought good fortune. On the way to ruling the rugby world in 1995, his Springboks overran the Wallabies in the opening game.
I met him twice on the rugby fields, and both times the Springboks played at another level.
And that was the man, an inspiration for a team and a nation. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
And tonight we have a 9 News special, Nelson Mandela, Warrior for Peace. Peter Stefanovic looks back at Mandela's remarkable life and legacy. That's 7:30 here on 9.